Hi, Officer Silva.
Is everybody ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Hi, I'm Officer Destiny Silva, that's Destiny-Silva, and I'm an officer with the Public Information Office. Our department is currently investigating 22 burglaries that have occurred at condos and apartment complexes in the area of South Lamar Boulevard and Lady Bird Lake. In all of these burglaries, the same type of entry method has been used and the same type of property has been taken. The entry method is usually a tool that defeats the locking mechanism on the door. The type of property that's taken is small but highly valuable. In all of these incidents, the residents did lock their doors. We are noticing a trend. We'll see a period of multiple burglaries in this area and then a period of no activity. So we have seen 10 reported burglaries from July 11th to July 12th. We had 7 reported burglaries from September 11th to September 12th. And then we've had 5 reported October 7th. We believe we may have more reports, probably more in, past the October 7th timeframe due to ACL. A lot of people are out of town due to the festival. So when they return, we anticipate there might be some more reports. This is an active investigation. Our burglary unit is following up on all leads at this current time. But if you do have any information regarding these incidents, we are asking that you please contact the burglary unit. And also we want to remind the community and residents and visitors as well, just as some safety tips. So make sure your door's locked. If you do see any suspicious behavior, especially in areas of condos or apartment complexes, some of them have hallways or access doors or things like that. If you see people kind of piggybacking in, and what I mean by that is somebody that's not using a code or a badge or whatever might be needed to gain entry to an area, you can report that behavior. Also, if you see any unfamiliar people, especially if it's a smaller condo or a smaller complex and you kind of know everybody in the area, know your neighbors, talk to people. But if you see somebody out of the ordinary, especially if they're carrying like a large bag with them, maybe you see a mask, maybe you see some tools, anything that's suspicious, you can always just call 911 and have officers check it out. Something else you might want to consider is any type of alarm system or any type of cameras, especially one that points towards that front door. So if you do install one on the exterior, just make sure that it's pointing at different locations that might be access to gain entry into your home. Also record any serial numbers you have for any items. You may want to take photographs of things that are highly valuable to you, because if you do find that you are a victim, the more information that we do have, the better. And again, get to know your neighbors. Look out for one another. Be aware, especially if you know these types of crimes are happening in this area. Now, if you do find yourself, unfortunately, in this situation, call 911 immediately and avoid touching anything within the area that you think the suspect might have touched. So just call right away. We can get officers out there. First and foremost, we can make sure the scene's safe. And then we can go ahead and collect any evidence that might be available to us. And that's why we don't want you touching things, so that we can test for fingerprints or collect whatever else is needed. And then provide as much detailed information as you can as possible. And of course, if you feel like your door's been pried open, just call 911. Let officers come in, clear the area. No property is worth your life.
So they're prying open the doors to the individual residences. How are they getting entry to the building itself? Because most of these are secured, like you said, have cards, things like that. How are they getting into the building?
It could be piggybacking. I mean, the exact location or the exact way that they're doing this is unknown. So that's why it's very important that you do pay attention to your surroundings. And then again, just talk to your neighbors and kind of pay attention of who's coming in and out. Know who lives next to you. So if you do see something out of the ordinary, you can call and report that immediately.
Are there any suspects that APD is looking at right now?
I don't have information on any suspects that we currently have, but again, we are following up. We are actively working these cases. And so if you do have any information, please contact the burglary unit.
Have you gotten video from the building themselves
or condos?
of the
Okay.
entryways?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you be more specific on which condos or apartment complexes have been hit?
There are some that are identified, but again, I'm talking about 22 burglaries, so just follow up with PIO. We can give you a list.
Was anybody home on these burglaries?
I don't have the exact details of every single specific case, but I do know that in these incidents, all of the residents lock their doors.
You said they're using some sort of device that, what did you say, that, excuse me, defeats the locking mechanism. What does that mean?
So it's some type of tool, we believe, that's being used to defeat the locking mechanism. So there's different tools that you can use. An example of one would be like a crowbar. So if you hear any type of noise that might be consistent with somebody trying to pry open a door, you need to call that in. You need to call 911. That's suspicious.
Can you confirm if a victim walked in on one of these burglaries in progress?
Again, I don't have exact details on every 22 of these burglaries, but what I can tell you is that all the residents had their doors locked and then they were burglarized. That's all I know at this point. We aren't going to release probably specific details on each one of these cases as well, because again, it's an active investigation.
And were there any alarms going off, or was it just residents walking into a burglarized home?
I'm sure each incident had different details that are specific to that case. And again, the detectives do have that information of each one of the 22 burglaries, but we're not going to provide those details at this time because, again, we want to protect the integrity of the case.
Are you asking management for these condos and apartments to do anything different as far as security-wise?
That wouldn't be something that the police department handles, but you as a resident there, you can always familiarize yourself with the property's terms, maybe your lease agreement, or you can reach out to management and say, hey, we're having these issues. What can we further do to protect ourselves, or what are you guys further doing to protect it?
I know there aren't any specific suspects that you can talk about right now, but is it the same group of people making their way to different apartment complexes, or a group of people, or just one person?
We don't have it narrowed down if it's a group or just one person. There aren't any suspects that have been identified at this point in time. Again, that's why we're putting this information out there. So if you do have any information, please contact the burglary unit. But we are noticing the same entry method and the same type of property taken.
So there's a chance this could be connected. It could be the same person.
We're not ruling anything out at this point. We're going to explore all opportunities so we can hopefully solve these cases.
Last question.
And what has been the total cost of damages? Do you have that number?
I don't have the total cost of items stolen for all 22 burglaries.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.